I think the last video I made about the Bulls was about Pat Williams' year 3 preview. Before the season has started, I talked about how we might see Pat develop into like a rising star, like the guy that we expect him to be, being the 4th overall pick a few years ago. And he just hasn't gotten a chance to play a lot over the last couple years. He's been out with injuries. The first year he was playing a lot, but his role was super limited. He's playing with Zach Lavine and then kind of like a bunch of bums. We got Vooch in the middle of the year, but that was like the last year of Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter before they decided to get way better right after we got rid of him. But anywho, this has been a season for Pat where he has to take a step, whatever. This video's not about him. He does obviously have to do with what we're talking about because he's not ready to be the 20-point scorer yet. I think there will be a point where he is consistently getting 15 every game, and I think he is growing from the start of the season to now, like just the inclination to do more, be more active on both sides of the ball instead of just standing around trying to be in the background. Like, we need his contributions. But a big reason why we need his contributions is because this guy, Zach Lavine, newly minted max player, coming off the knee surgery, has been missing some games. Generally, it's one of the back-to-backs, so it's not the end of the world. A lot of guys in the league don't play both ends of back-to-back. Zach actually did play one back-to-back so far this year, so that's a good sign. He didn't play the first of the recent back-to-back against the Raptors, the first game of which we lose because Nick Nurse doubles the absolute hell out of DeMar DeRozan, forced him to give the ball up, and DeMar actually had a better go of it, scoring against that immense pressure, only getting 9 shot attempts, but still 20 points. Last game, he was completely bottled up. I couldn't really believe Nick Nurse was doing it again. Like, the sole reason he would do it in the first place is because we just don't have enough scoring around DeMar, and we didn't in that game. We were incredibly turnover prone. Even the halftime adjustments was weird. It's like we weren't even ready for the double in the second half. Not sure why we couldn't really adjust to that. Alex Caruso couldn't make a shot. Whatever. But we get Zach back, and he shows just how deadly of a team we can be. I can't believe Nick Nurse would do this again, because you really are going to be playing 4-on-3 for a few seconds while the 2 guys from the double team have to adjust and reassign themselves, because the Bulls were already used to that double team from the last game. But you add a real sniper, Zach Lavine, into the mix. He gets up 8 threes, makes 4 of them, 30-point game. You make him a focal point. You want to take DeMar out of the game? This is why we have Zach Lavine, and this is why Zach Lavine is so important. I said before the year, I think at a certain point in this season, we could see the changing of the guard, because DeMar is really the number 1 on the Chicago Bulls since he arrived. Even though I didn't think that was something that would necessarily happen when it did. Like, I thought we were getting help for Zach, but last year, Zach was really help for DeMar. DeMar is getting older, and he's getting hit with these double teams, and he's at a point where he just can't really move around to find spots within the defense. Like, he makes that pass out of the double team. He's not running around. He's not Steph Curry. It's hard for him to get open. We know how deadly of an isolation scorer he is. So once you take that away, well, we need to have the capability to beat a team if he can't score on us. Last year in the playoffs against the Bucks, it's really hard for DeMar DeRozan to score with Drew Holiday on the ball and Giannis and Brook Lopez waiting in the paint. That's the type of situation that calls for Zach Lavine to step up and be the guy. DeMar has presented, even against amazing defenses, going up against Boston the other night. You can play amazing individual defense on the guy. First of all, you can't breathe on him. I can't even believe it. I'm as big of a Bulls fan as you will meet, but it gets absolutely ridiculous sometimes with the calls. I can't even lie. He has the officials' respect, absolutely. His isolation maneuvers are so patented. Obviously, the mid-range jumper is as polished as they come. You need the maximum defensive attention to take this guy out of a game. And for the sake of the Raptors, they needed 2 guys. They wouldn't even let him dribble. It wasn't like they doubled him as soon as he crossed the 3-point line. No, they double him as soon as he gets by half court. Incredible thing to see, but it just goes to show what this team can accomplish. DeMar is willing to give the ball up if he can't literally do anything. He's not going to go 1-on-2. But use the situation to create great looks for the rest of the team. The Bulls should have the capacity to score even in this situation, because you have Zach, you have Vooch, and you have Pat Williams, who can hopefully contribute in some of these areas. I would assume who space the floor. I'm not even going to think about Lonzo Ball right now because he's kind of an afterthought at this point. Last month or 2 of the season, hopefully he can help us get the record up if he's even playing. But Zach Lavine is so important. The production, it's been a little bit shaky to start the year until this game last night, but he had it easy because his teammate is being doubled to hell. He's getting easier looks. Nick Nurse was giving him a freebie. He was underestimating him. Disrespectful, if you ask me. Zach's had some great moments like that 4th quarter in Brooklyn, But the last 2 games before this, Charlotte and Boston, really not impressive. The game I was at, the Philly game, very disappointing as well. Early on in the season, he's had a little bit of struggles. Hopefully, just him getting his feet under him. You know, he's just getting off surgery. He looks smaller too. His body, his shoulders kind of look like they did when he first arrived in Chicago rather than last year. He seemed like he'd bulked up, but he does look slimmer up there. So I'm not really sure if this helps. His finishing at the rim has not been as good like to start the year. It probably is cause for some of these less productive evenings that he's had, but I'm willing to say it's early, and I believe that Zach Lavine is greatness and embodies greatness, and on a basketball court last night, he was definitely doing that. I mean, guys hit 2+ threes in every game so far this year. I believe in patience. It's a long season. There's a lot of overreactions by the Bulls community in general. I think any fan base is going to overreact to what they're seeing. It starts with him being available, though. Like this knee stuff, it's gotta, if he's sitting out every single back-to-back, that's a lot of games we're probably going to lose because we just don't have the second guy. As good as Vooch can be in his role when a defense tries to take DeMar out of the game, hey, maybe on some nights, but against the best teams, you need Zach Lavine. Yeah, Bulls fans, let me know how we're feeling about the season so far. Obviously very up and down. Had some great wins, had some bad losses. You know how it goes. So that's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think. And this has been Bucketology. I'm out.